Today, we're turning this PDF into a fillable form using AI. So this is just some random template PDF from Adobe itself. It's a mobile food vendor permit application. So it's pretty niche use case, but it's essentially just a PDF, paper fillable. You see the kind I'm talking about. So we want to turn that into a fillable form, something that we can send online to people, have them respond to it with their mobile phone or on desktop, gather all of the information in a Google Sheets and get an email every time one of those mobile food vendors actually applies for the permit. So we're going to use Weebly.ai. So this is their landing page. You can start for free, and it's actually a very sort of neat and streamlined service. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the PDF into Weebly.ai. We don't really need to describe anything because it's sort of trained to generate forms from documents and prompts. So we're going to go ahead and press generate form, and we'll immediately get to see what it takes out of it. So it's going to analyze the PDF. It's going to extract all of the different questions in the PDF and generate as a form. So we have something here which is testable. So let's just fill in some data so that we can see that it works. So all of this works, and enter a dummy email address. And as you can see, it even got the radio buttons out of the PDF. So the questions are exactly as they are. So the cool thing is it even created different pages based on these different sections. Now we can also restyle it. So this is sort of the default template. We can pick one from Weebly itself, or again, we can give it a PDF or a screenshot of something and tell it to use the form or the style from that. So here we're going to say, ignore the green because that seems to be sort of not in the theme of the thing. Pick blue for the highlights, for example, and the font. Generate the theme, and then again it's going to go through the PDF, check out the styling, and it's going to generate as something which is closer to the actual PDF. So this gray background thing comes from the headers here, and this blue as the call to action color. So once we're okay with this, we can choose to continue in the Weebly editor, where we'll get an overview of all the pages that have been created. We'll be able to manually change them. So for example, if we don't want certain questions to be required, if you want to change very specific things, sometimes it's easier to do that by hand than with AI. In our case, we're going to leave it at that. These are the questions that are asked in the PDF. We even have a file upload element right here. We're going to add some integrations to have our data go into Google Sheets and to get an email every time a vendor submits a response. So for that, we'll go into the integrations tab. You can see that there's plenty of stuff that Weebly integrates with. We're going to keep it simple here. So we're going to add a email integration. The way you do this is that you specify the to address. So in my case, it would be florian@weebly.ai. That's my email address. You enter a subject. So new food vendor application. Makes sense. You can also send an email to the person that responds. The way you do this is by opening up double curly braces, and then you get a list of all of your form elements. So you can reuse the responses from the respondents in that email. So in our case, we could, for example, say business vendor name just applied to your form. Keep it simple, create that integration, and now every time somebody submits the form, I'm going to get an email saying that this particular company applied. And the next thing that we want to do is we want to set up a Google Sheets integration. And the way you do this is by clicking on the add button. You'll go through a single sign-on process if you haven't created that in an integration already with Google Sheets. In my case, I already set that up. I'll leave a link to the video specifically for that integration as well if you're interested. And here again, you get to select which form elements you want in your Google Sheet. And then when you create the integration, automatically a sheet will be created for you, which will contain all of the data. So as you can see, we get all of the questions that are asked in our fields as headers of the columns, and then every time a response comes in, you'll get a new row in here. If you're not using Google Sheets, of course, there's plenty of other options. You can get it to Notion, Salesforce. Zapier integration is coming soon, so if you want to automate other stuff, you're good to go as well. And then, of course, the final thing is how do you actually get people to fill in the form? How do you spread it? There's three options. Either you have it as a standalone form. So if you copy this URL, then you get to see the form the way that we've set it up in Weebly itself. So this is just a standalone form. It's its own web page. Another option is to embed this form immediately into your website. There's two ways you can do this, either as part of your website, this is this part, or as a pop-up. So if somebody navigates to your page and stays there for more than a second, you could have it pop up on top of your website. Again, there's a specific video and tutorial on that. I'll leave a link at the top of the video to that specific tutorial if you're interested. But essentially, it's as simple as that. So you upload your PDF. You can potentially sort of in the prompt edit a bit what you want. So if you wanted everything in one page, you could have just said, I want all of my questions in a single page. And then Weebly AI is going to generate you a fillable form, and you can then further tweak it, set up integrations, embed it in your website, and gather all of those juicy results without people having to actually fill in a PDF and send it to you via email like it's 2010.